Oh, I see.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Discussing Tabletop. Of course, it is Saturday, August 2009. This is our 123rd show. Joining us today is a special guest. Let me actually.
Joe.
You get to be special, Rachel.
I'm special.
Rachael, who's normally with us for D&D, is joining us today to talk because she was at Gencon.
Yay, Gencon.
Yes. Yay, Gencon. So that's going to be our main topic for today, is talking all about that. Then we do have a couple of other topics to discuss. I want to talk about the game by Renegade Game Studios. They've announced Circadians First Light. We have Wizkids announcing OP Arena, the Roll20 and Pathfinder. Pathfinder 2.0 being Roll20. Over the Edge 3rd edition by Atlas Games, and of course I want to talk about Renegade Game Studios and Video Wolf are doing a Vampire the Masquerade Expendable card game. And I'm like, so it's like your other card game you did for Vampire, except collectible. Neat.
About right.
Yeah, it does sound about right.
Remember, we report a while back that it had been making a comeback.
Yes, but now it's something else completely different.
But
I'm saying that they probably saw that there was enough interest that they probably could do something new with it.
True. Anyway, so why don't we get into the first topic of Gencon with Rachael? So Rachael, why don't you tell us about your Gencon experience?
Where do you want me to start? It was awesome. Again, I went last year. It was the first year, so we decided to do it again this year. Kind of did the same thing that we did last year, which I highly recommend if you have a group of people. Try to get like an Airbnb, and then just or find people you can house with, basically, because that'll be one of your larger costs and frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, dog is like nuzzling my arm with her wet nose. But yeah, so we got there. If you do decide you want to do Gen Con, biggest tips I could tell you is have your tickets and badges mailed to you. Will call this year. So last year, my friends waited, I think, about an hour and a half to 2 hours in will call the first day to get their tickets and their badges and everything. This year, the line was quite long. I heard in the 4 and 5 hour range.
Dang.
Of waiting. It went like out the front of the convention center, around the corner of the convention center, down the next block. Yeah, it was quite a line. That was on Wednesday. Also on Thursday, it was also very long though. Still, so definitely would recommend having your tickets and things mailed to you. It is like a $10 charge. Worth it. Worth every penny. Yeah, then it was just gaming and lots of fun nerds. I think they reported about 70,000 people came this year.
Wow, it's a hell of a number.
Yep. It is, for those of you who don't know, it's in Indianapolis, and it is the Lucas Oil Stadium, which across the street from that is the convention center. And then there's, I think, 4 hotels: the Hyatt, the JW Marriott, the regular Marriott, and I think there's another one that I can't remember the name. I obviously had nothing in that hotel, so I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it's all very accessible. As somebody who's also done Dragon Con, it is way better than Dragon Con. As far as like walking around, getting there, traffic isn't as bad. It just is a overall, even with 70,000 people, it's a little bit more laid back feeling, if that makes sense.
No, I get that.
It didn't feel crowded really at all. Even on Saturday, which is like the peak shopping day, the exhibit floor, which has I think like 3,000 vendors or something ridiculous, didn't feel super congested like some of our local cons here, MegaCon and like at Dragon Con. Like I'm a shorter person. I did not get elbowed in the face or boob at all. That's a plus in my book. So, yeah, it was fun. I played 7 games, I think, this year, 2 board games, and then, 6 games, 2 board games and 4 tabletop games, and then I jumped in randomly to another game one of the mornings. But yeah, I don't know what else you want me to tell you about it. Questions?
Now, I know you signed up for a bunch of things, so what's the kind of process for that? Because I know, at least for PAX Unplugged, they're very much so sign up at the location, which makes it very hard to get into a lot of RPGs.
Yes. So, the process for Gen Con is... What's the next step down from Nightmarish? Because it's bad.
Hellish?
Hellish? Yeah, Hellish is a good one. It's like right up there. So you have a combination. So, all right, you get your badge. Then like a month or 2 later, they release the schedules for what games are going to be available. If you're like us, we go through, we pick out what we want to do, we arrange our schedule, and we make what's called a wish list. The day that the tickets that you can buy the games unlocks, and the site crashes immediately. Because there's like thousands of people. For reference, I had my wish list, and as soon as the button to click to purchase wish list unlocked, I clicked it. It spun for a good 2 minutes or so, and then popped up and said I was like 6,000 in the queue. My friend also clicked it at the same time, and she was like 7,000 in the queue.
Wow.
And then the site crashed. So by the time things kind of get up and running, and by the time like our order was processed, 3 or 4 of our games that we put on our wish list had already been sold out. So then of course it's like a frantic, well, what other games do we want to do that can fit in the slots that we have? Click, click, click. Back in queue, back at queue number 6,000. 40 minutes later, you get back to the front of the line and go, ding, your games are sold out again. So buying tickets this year was a lot more stressful. Last year we didn't know what to expect, and my husband and I just kind of went, oh, tickets are on sale now. Let's see what we can get. Click, 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 and just moseyed through it over the course of like 3 hours on the day that they unlocked, and picked out what was basically left that we wanted to play. Whereas this year we're like, okay, we want to do these 5 games. Bam, 3 of them sold out immediately. So it was like, well, glad I didn't have my hopes set on those. Maybe we'll try something else.
Now, how much is it for one of the tickets to one of these games, anyway?
It depends on the game. So various factors, I think, go into determining how much the ticket is. For example, most of my games were like $2 or $4.
Okay.
For the RPG games. My Dread game, however, was run by one of the ladies at the Broadswords podcast. I think that a portion of their proceeds were going to like a charity, so their tickets were $24 for the game.
Wow.
Satine Phoenix had a series of games. Those were upwards of like $120 a ticket.
Okay, I can see that.
So it depends. The board games, a lot of board games are demoed, and those are free usually. They just have you buy a ticket so that the Gen Con people can track how many people are showing up to the game early.
Yeah.
But like those were free. So
now,
it just depends.
Do they have like open play and stuff as well? Okay.
So let's say you want to play a game. Like Chris wanted to play a Star Trek game. It booked up immediately. Didn't even get into it. So what he did is the first day, whatever, he went and bought what are called generic tickets. They're $2 a ticket, and you can basically go hover around the table that you want to play at, and if a player doesn't show up, you hand over a generic ticket, and they let you sit in the game. So he did that. He actually got into 2 of the games that he'd wanted, which was a Star Trek game and My Hero Academia. Is that a thing?
It's an anime, but I haven't heard of the game unless he's doing like a board or card game based on it. If it's an RPG, then it might be like...
It's an RPG. It might have been a homebrew rule set.
It could have been using a version of Bessem, though. But the 4th edition's not out yet. I think I could see someone using a superhero system for it because it's a superhero anime. So they could have been using like Mutants of Mastermind or... probably not Aberrant because the new one's coming out with that, too.
Yeah.
But
I don't. He didn't know what system it was, so.
Was it a D20 system?
I believe it was.
That's probably Mutants and Masterminds they were using for it, which is fine. That works perfectly because, again, superhero anime, superhero system. But anyway.
Okay. But yeah, he managed to get into both of those with generic tickets, which. So here's the trade-off: is those games were early morning games, which we found if you really want to get into a game, let's say like he wanted to do the Star Wars game. Best bet to get into one if you don't already have a ticket is try to hit the early morning games because people stay out and party the night before and don't make the early morning games. So, like, my first game was Numenera. It was at 8 a.m. on Thursday, and there was me and 3 other people out of 6. So 2 people didn't even show. It was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was ridiculous. Same thing with my next game. My next morning game was... No, that was the afternoon. It must have been the Dread game. We were missing 2 people, and then we had 1 person jump in with generics. So it wound up kind of filling back up. So it just depends on what game you want to do. And then, like I said, get generics, and then just kind of awkwardly hover around. And if usually after 5 minutes of the start time, if like the table's not full, they're like, all right, have a seat, give me your generics, and they take it and let you go.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Neat.
And the generics are $2 a piece.
Okay.
So it's not too much.
So what kind of let's start with what kind of big events did they have there? Did they have a lot of big announcements, big like a big stage events or anything like that, or was it just like?
They do. I don't attend most of those.
Yeah.
They have like the Ennie. They host the Ennies there and give those out. They also have there's a huge cosplay event. They have the Iron GM event. So there's a lot of the big events, which I would love to go to, but unfortunately I didn't. They also had on Saturday night, they had like a big cosplay dance that I guess a bunch of people went to. You know, you dress up and dance. I don't know.
I've been to cons that have dances and stuff like that. Like when I used to go to Star Trek conventions, that'd be a huge thing. That one of the nights was a big dance.
Well, that's the same thing with when I was going to an anime convention many years ago. They had like their rave the one night, which was the masquerade rave kind of thing. So if you were there, you could go. But anyway, so how about the floor, basically the big area where all the companies have set up, where they're selling things? Was it a lot of just companies? Or was there a lot of also like the companies actually selling their products, or were there some independent things? And I know
both.
Okay, both. Because PAX Unplugged is mostly little companies with a few stores spread throughout. But I'm wondering, because Gencon is definitely a bigger convention, how they sort of split their thing.
So the exhibition hall is huge. It's massive. It's essentially the whole bottom floor of the convention center. And like I say, they have somewhere around 3,000 different vendors. And you have everything from cool stuff games, like the actual board game selling brick and mortar stores like we have here in Orlando, down to, Tom who's making his RPG about ducks, I don't know, who managed to get a booth.
Who had enough money to get a booth at Gencon.
Yeah, so you have everything in between. There's a whole artist alley. So there's all the artists have a whole section to themselves. That was, I'd say there was probably 6 rows, the back half. So maybe 30 to 40 at least artists that just had their own booth.
Yeah. Wow.
Booth or table. You have dice creators, miniature painters, trading card games. Wormwood had a booth. So you had Wormwood. Paizo has a giant, massive area.
I mean, they always do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure with this year, with Pathfinder 2.0 coming out,
we're selling it. Buy it now, plebeians.
Yep.
Hail our new system.
they always have a massive booth, and they always have like a queue outside of it to like just get into it to go shopping. Monte Cook Games has a booth. Blizzard has a booth usually for their trading card game.
Okay.
I didn't see it this year. I didn't really look for it, but I know last year Blizzard had like a huge corner set up because I think it was right around the same time they had some big promotional thing going on. And it actually was set up to be like a tavern in World of Warcraft. So like that's what it looked like on the outside, and you go in and they had like games and stuff going on in there. All the smaller companies almost all of them are demoing games, so you can either like hop into a game for a few minutes and see how like it plays for a few rounds. The creators are there on the floor. Like I literally was standing next to Bruce Cordell at the Monte Cook booth games, and it was just like, I know that guy. While I was talking to somebody else about Invisible Sun. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Everybody is very laid back for it being as like chaotic as it is with that many people. It's got a very like chill vibe overall, I'd say. Even people who I know have like, you know, social anxiety and stuff aren't like super stressed. They're a little stressed because there's a lot of people, but they're like, okay, like I'm not being squished and compressed. It's still very open.
No, it's very interesting to hear about it, because it's like the more you describe it, the more it sounds like it's a lot closer to some of the other conventions I've been to, rather than like the PAXs I've been to. Like, you know, like as Joe says, like I've had some experience at Star Trek conventions, I've had some experience at anime conventions, and it's like it's got definitely like the more classic convention feel with a lot of the stuff they have. Especially when you mentioned the Artist Alley, that's interesting. So
yeah, they have the whole Artist Alley, and it's really, I love the way they do it, because you have, if you want to go shopping, you know where to go shopping. The convention center, like the bottom floor of the convention center, is pretty much a one-stop shop for literally everything. You want, you know, a whole box of like 400 D6s, you can find it. I mean, I don't know why you need that many, but you know, you do you, man. That like there's that. But if you want to do, they have the game library, which is inside of Lucas Oil Stadium. They essentially put down floor over the actual stadium floor, the grass or whatever, and then put tables and stuff. So there's like a whole area that's the game library, and you pay a couple tickets, you get a 5-hour pass to go into the library, and you can just check out whatever games you want and play them. And that's open, I think, 24 hours a day.
Okay.
For the whole convention. So it's like 40 straight. That you're like, oh, I got 2 hours to kill. I could go check out, I don't know, Red Dragon Inn and play that with a couple people. Or we played Scribble.
I was going to say, see, that's what's really cool too, is you have another day at that convention where like PAX Unplugged is only 3. So that's why we also have yet to do any role-playing there, because you're talking about taking almost your entire day to do it.
Yeah. Ours, so the role-play games that I've played, they are usually 2 to 4 hours.
Okay.
So they're shorter. Unless you're getting into Twilight Imperium, or which they do have not only just the games, they also have the tournaments that are like, you're signing up for your convention to play this. Just FYI.
Right.
Twilight Imperium. Oof.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep. So it's really cool. They have in the same hall or not same hall, but in the stadium, they also have the True Dungeon, which we have yet to do. We just can't see quite spending that much money on it, because it's like $80 per person. But you get cards and you go through, and it's like actual, almost like LARPing, and you get stuff. It does seem really fun, but again, it's like $80 a person, and we're just like, I don't know if we can justify that.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like there's a lot more charges at Gen Con too. It sounds like it's definitely much more money. But the thing is, it's like also it sounds like the size is greater. Like when you're saying like they have the library. Okay, PAX has a sort of free library that you can check something out. But then again, they have a very like small selection, I think, in comparison to what that sounds like. And also, this is the 24-hour thing. Yeah, that's definitely a lot different too, because that's just the convention. So I can understand definitely, like, you know, signing up for pass and just being that your afternoon.
Yeah, you can also do, they have, I think it's like $40, but you can get a weekend pass for the library, which lets you just go in and out as you want. Or it's $4 for a 5-hour block to go in and out as much as you want in that 5 hours. So I think I did it once just because a group of us met up in there, like between things. And they're not strict. So like the block might be from 12 to 5. But if you get there at 4:30, they'll let you in and say that your block is the actual like 5 to 10 o'clock block.
Okay.
So they're not like 4:30, man, you got 30 minutes in this block. It's a little flexible. They're pretty, like I said, they're pretty chill and laid back for most of the stuff.
Cool. So that seems like it's very interesting.
Yeah. And then a lot of the demoing and stuff you can sign up for. And like I said, most of the demos are free.
Yeah.
The two board games I played were free. I played Good Dog, Bad Zombie, which you are dogs trying to save humans in the apocalypse. It was actually really cute. I don't know that it had like a ton of replayability, but it was fun. It was adorable. And then Barricades, where you play the forest, and you are essentially in charge of the animals in your forest, and you are trying to protect your forest from lumberjacks.
Wow.
It was very interesting. Not my favorite game, but it was fun. I mean, it's something to do to kill a couple hours.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, see, I think that is a big difference between PAX Unplugged, though, and this is that other than the admission price, playing games, everything else is all free. You just sign up. It's just the sign-up process is hell. And basically, if you're not staying at the hotel, good luck on getting any of the role-playing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I do like the fact that I can sign up for the role-playing in advance and essentially save my seat at the table, which is what I did for the 4 games I played. I played Numenera, Dread, Call of Cthulhu, and My Little Pony. So.
Right.
That's an interesting selection, I really have to say, you know?
Yes.
I really wanted Pokemon, but that one booked up, and I wanted Fate also booked up, so, and a Star Trek game also booked up. So I'm like, well, I played Numenera before and I really enjoyed it. I'll try it again.
You know, that's one thing I think I might actually look at is after we're done working the con, one of the days I would love to try to sign up for a Star Trek game. If we can actually get it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Well,
the other, I don't know if PAX has this also, but there's which me and my friends love, is the auction and consignment shop. So you can actually bring your stuff and put it into the auction, and if it doesn't sell and get auctioned off, then it goes to the consignment shop. So, like, I picked up the Monty Cook, not Monty Cook, the Numenera starter set, which is like $28 or $30 at the actual Monty Cook booth. I got a brand new set, still in the wrapping, for $14 at the consignment shop.
Nice.
I got Call of Cthulhu. It's rule version 5.6 for, I think I paid $13 for the book. So you get a lot of stuff for cheaper than you would, and most of it's in really good condition. It might have like a ripped page, or it might have a bent corner, but it's still the same information, and it's way cheaper.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting to hear about, because that's something I haven't heard much about, because like the idea of like the auction and then like the consignment afterwards to like just sell some things off that
get rid of it. Yep.
If you've got extra stuff or just stuff you want to get rid of, extra. Wow,
yeah, and
cool.
you can find so many random things. There's a big box on one of the tables that has miscellaneous bags of stuff. So it might have like a bag of dice. It might have a bag of like miscellaneous collectible cards from like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, like just all thrown into one bag, and it's like $2 for the bag. And it's one of those like grab bags. You're like, I don't know what's in here. It could be good, or it could be 400 lands. I don't know.
It's just it's the mystery of like, ooh, what could be in there? It could be anything.
Yeah, they have boxes and boxes of like D&D supplements. Like every gaming system almost you can think of, they have supplements, magazines, the actual core rule books, all the way from like AD&D to like 5th edition. They have in the rows, that's where I found like the Call of Cthulhu. I got the Strange, the Numenera stuff, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that sounds
it's
like.
all cheap.
Well, that's the thing, is like it's trying to find a place where you can find some of the classic stuff sometimes, or things like just like that can be difficult. I know. Leading to a quick like side story here. 3rd edition, Faiths and Pantheon. It was a Faerun based book. That was a supplement. I got it. No one else could ever find it, and my one friend was looking for it. And I think it took him forever to find a copy of it.
Gotcha.
I think it's like sometimes you just can't find these unusual things that just are there and then disappear. And places like that are really good treasure troves.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you also, there's like a little tiny element of like gamble with it as well.
Yeah.
Because if you go on the consignment on, let's say, Thursday, and you see something, it will list the Thursday price, the Friday price, and the Saturday price. So it goes down the longer it's in the consignment shop. So you're like, ooh, I could buy it for 30 today, or 20 tomorrow, or 16 on Saturday, but
is it going to be there?
It might not be there.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tricky thing. That's
so we went back, and more stuff gets added because as it doesn't sell in the auction, it might get pushed over to the consignment. So it just depends. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We went back. I think I went in there 3 separate times throughout the convention. There's always a line, so you have to wait in line. You have to like check your bag and stuff when you go in because it's like it's not a huge space, but the problem is there's tables and they're very close together, so you are like squeezing by people as you're like rummaging through boxes, which is a lot of fun. And, like, you have there, yoink.
Oh, you don't really want this? I'm just gonna slip this up to my own hands here.
Yeah, and it's a ton of board games too, so it's not just books. It's board games, miniatures, trading card games, books. There's like actual like novels. There's a whole section of novels and DVDs. So it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like it.
The inner nerds in us are like, ooh, deals on nerdy things.
All right. I can't think of any major questions. Oh, Joe, you're muted.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. Here's a question. How's security there? Like getting in and out of the convention? Because we had an issue last year with security.
There's almost, we were actually talking about this. There's very little security. I mean, they don't check bags coming in and out of the convention center. There are staff members everywhere. Like event center staff members, and there's like security if something happens.
Right.
But they're not checking bags, they're not checking props. Like, it's very laid back.
That was like the first year of PAX, but unfortunately
there were incidents.
It wasn't because of PAX or anything. The convention center changed their rules. And we had to go. You had every time you re-entered the facility, you had to go through metal detectors and a checkpoint. And
they're pretty.
And they unfortunately didn't announce it to people like very far ahead of the convention that was changing.
Ooh, yeah. No, ours it's very lax. I mean, you'll see, like I said, event member or event staff everywhere. They have cops out directing traffic and stuff, but I think there was an incident, 2 incidents last year. I didn't hear of anything this year, at least nothing big. The 2 incidents I heard about last year was one, some moron threw a chair off of like an 8-story balcony inside of the Hyatt, and it hit somebody, and sent them to the ER. And the other incident was, I think one dude was just being I don't know if he was being like racist or if he was just being kind of, a jerk, but he was basically being a jerk, and people were heckling him, and he was like a YouTuber, so he was like filming it and saying that they were like attacking him or some garbage. He got escorted out of the convention though, and that was on like the second day. But otherwise, I didn't hear of anything this year. They have signs posted everywhere that's like, harassment will not be tolerated. Basically, you try anything, you're out. And it was pretty much enforced. I think I heard like one or two people offhandedly maybe say something that was a little questionable, and they got dirty looks and immediately stopped, kind of thing. So it's very, very inclusive. And I mean, at every game I sat at, they asked you, what is your name? What is your character's name? What are the pronouns you wish to go by? Even like, it was like super, super inclusive and just very open for everything. So
oh, that's good.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's like Gen Con has how many years of experience behind themselves? So
50? I don't know. Lot. I think last year was like their 50th.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. But it's also exploded in the last couple years.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. I'm quickly looking up. 1968 was the first one. So yeah, 51 now. Dang.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the numbers, it stayed pretty low until the last couple years, because last year I think was in the 50,000 range. This year was 70,000 range.
Oh yeah, since like it I just quickly got a timeline here. It looks like around 2010 it started popping off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
yeah. But even with that, it's still, like I said, it doesn't feel crowded and congested and uncomfortable. The halls are giant, so even if everybody was in the hall, it's still like you have moving space and you don't have people elbowing you in the face or the boob. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, before we kind of push on too much, because I can't think of any other questions. You got anything else, Joe?
No, nothing major.
Well, let's try to take some of our topics while we have a guest here. Then, I'm gonna switch the order a little bit. Let's talk about the Pathfinder one. Yeah. So Pathfinder 2.0, it's up on Roll20. I mean, that's really the basics of the entire conversation.
It's up on
actually, no, because I looked a little more into it under the buying section. You do get some extra stuff because I did mention it's $60, and it's like, okay, so it's the price of getting the book in real life. That's a bit extreme. But you are getting the character art pack, which is over 230 pieces.
Okay, that's pretty good.
It includes any upcoming development, which includes drag and drop functionality for items, spells, class features, right into your character sheet. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Apparently I got a code for free stuff.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff that it is coming with as well. So it kind of makes sense. And as always, you can share it with the other players.
Okay.
So if you have the DM has it, he can share it with them.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense and does help it a lot. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, with that, if you have like a 4-party group at a DM, everyone can chip in like $13.
Yeah.
And cover it.
And then you got something really helpful for the entire game too. So yeah, no,
right.
I can see that. Okay, so it makes more sense when you kind of go into the level of it, and like the art packs, they help, because I know I ended up getting a few things on their on Roll20's marketplace just so that I could occasionally build a map for you guys or for anybody else, just so that it would actually work. Because the basics they provide you with free, they don't build jack squat very decently. Okay.
Right. So you're getting some good stuff with it as well. I can understand why it's a little higher.
Yeah, no.
It would be nice if it was a closer to the PDF price.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely understandable. Though it sounds like you You do get the PDF though.
Yes.
So I mean,
so yeah, I mean you're getting bonus stuff plus the PDF.
Yeah, so I mean the PDF takes a big chunk of it anyway. So I mean that makes sense at least. That a big portion of the price at least, but still.
But still.
Yeah. No, I guess if it's something you really want to grab and it's very helpful to you, then it definitely sounds great. And if you're doing Pathfinder 2.0, especially a lot on Roll20, it might be great. Cool. Oh, should put that up there. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The art show up. Okay.
Now I wonder if they're going to add any basic stuff like they did with D&D, like you get some generic rules.
I don't know. If you get like, because yeah, the Dungeons & Dragons has their compendium, which is the generic, here's the player's handbook crap, and some of the monster manual or bestiary, no monster manual for D&D. I'm sorry, I keep getting that confused. It's bestiary, Pathfinder, monster manual for D&D, and I gotta remember
the monster book.
the big book o' monsters.
Yep,
that's what we can call it from now on. Yeah. So I know they've also announced that they're coming soon as like a first adventure with like a map, like some mapping packs that they're selling. So that's interesting. And I'm going to say like I'm suspicious of the pricing point, but I'm going to kind of watch it and just see like how this seems like it feels like it stacks up though. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Before I might dive into something, but I'd probably prefer just buying the physical copy of the Pathfinder 2.0 book though, and like thwack someone with it because it's a murder machine.
I mean, that's what you do with it, right?
it's like a dictionary. Those things are massive, and you can just like swunk someone with it, and they just die instantaneously.
Did you say swunk someone?
Yes, it's like swunk.
Could you define what swunking is?
Yeah, I want to know what
it's a
swunk
swing
is.
thunk. Swing thunk.
Swing thunk. Got it.
Swunk.
Got it. So it's like what you would do with a club.
Yes.
A mace or a club of some sort. Yes.
You just swunk him upside the head. I don't know how I came up with that, but I just did it. It made so much sense.
You are a swunk, sir. You are a swunk. That's as bad as you. Wasn't it you who's trying to use a curmudgeon?
Yes.
Instead of a cudgel, he's like, I swing my curmudgeon. Hey, get off me!
Someone had the D&D game for the original Xbox, and I was playing the cleric, and I'm like, ooh, I got a curmudgeon! I'm gonna use
You're
that.
like, wait, what?
I got a magical curmudgeon! And everybody, we were playing for a minute there, and then it was just like, someone paused the game and was like, what?
Wait, what?
Get off my lawn!
But no, so yeah, Pathfinder core stuff is up on Roll20, so if you are a person that does a lot on Roll20, it probably is really great for you to get anyway. Yeah, I wouldn't argue against it. And maybe you would know if the material provided with it, beyond the price of the PDF, make it truly worth it. I've only bought a few things on the Pathfinder store, so I don't know, like, their pack that they have there might be very good value for what they're providing for it. All their, like, tokens and stuff. It's a lot of them, so. Let's talk about Vampire. Let's talk about Vampire, because vampires growl. Gar. So this was an interesting one for me to read about. Renegade Studios is partnering with White Wolf and Paradox to do a Vampire the Masquerade expandable card game. That's just such an interesting way of saying it.
Not collectible, expandable.
Not collectible, not semi-collectible, not like a trading
Bigger
card
on the
game.
inside.
Just expandable.
Yeah.
I don't know what that it's like I'm trying to figure out from the
Well,
writer.
that could mean maybe it's going to be like the original, which there was a base set, but they might add more sets to it, but it's not going to be like packs. It might be like, think of Netrunner, where they have pre-made sets you can get, and you get all the cards in that set. It might be something like that. That would be expandable.
Versus collectible.
Yeah.
it takes out the random chance.
Well, yeah, I understand. That's probably like it's like the semi-collectible sets, which is what I would almost think it would be.
Yeah.
But they're calling it the expandable card game.
Well, I see both terms could be used interchangeably, really, because semi-collectible. You could say it's semi-collectible, but it is more expandable if you think about it, just because that it's more that okay, everyone gets access to these cards. It's just an expansion that's coming out.
Yeah, no.
So expandable, does make sense.
The way it's probably better than the semi-collectible card game. I mean, that's like better.
Semi-collectible.
Yeah. Which I feel like that's probably what it's going to be. It's going to be like the Arkham Horror card game. That Fantasy Flight does. Fantasy Flight does a lot of these semi-collectible card games. If it's like that, I'm not against that. And yeah, Netrunner is a great example of that.
Example, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you buy this product, it's always the same cards, but it's expanding upon what options you have for your gameplay.
Gotcha.
So, it's like the step down from your CCG, because it's a lot, I guess in a way it's a lot less products, but there's still a bunch of products that they can do, and I'm not sure how Renegade's going to take it anyway. But
yeah.
We're not seeing anything till 2020, though, so we got at least a couple of months to hear from something. We're not even sure when in 2020 they've announced it. They're just like, hey, we're working on this thing. It will be cool.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It'll be cool. Trust us.
It's a thingamajig.
It's a thingamajig.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Did you find it under the water? Downward sweater?
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
I shouldn't have gone there, but I did.
But you did.
It's been a weird reference day, too. Oh, my brain is just on weird references today. It's fine. I mean, Renegade Game Studios has been doing a lot of very interesting and great things.
New citizen of the Empire.
And definitely they've been doing a lot of great work lately. I'm just curious as to... Yeah, again, curiosity which direction they'll take it. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see, unfortunately. Until we hear more, at least. Let's, though, talk about Over the Edge 3rd Edition. Because I've heard about Over the Edge before, but this is like... Oh, that should be fine. That's showing it. It's fine enough. I'm not going to play with that. This is 3rd Edition, which apparently is out relatively recently. Like, I was looking into stuff on Atlas's game site, and they're like, new titles! Over the Edge! And looking into it, no, that's the actual 3rd Edition book is new. And I'm like, what? When did you, like, come out with this? When did you sneak it out? And why haven't I heard a lot about this at all? So it's a counterculture, conspiracy, weird science, urban danger RPG. That's the best way to describe it. Or at least the way that they kind of describe their RPG. It's basically like, transcending mortals and stuff, all that kind of things, and, confronting humanity in a modern / near future situation. So it sounds like an interesting setting, definitely. It's a 2d6 system. Great. I like 2d6 systems. I've played a couple of them. Again, I'm just not sure why, I haven't heard a lot about it until now. Is it because, it could have been a Kickstarter release that we missed? I can't say that it might not have been. Which makes me want to look that over and up that now, actually.
You're like, I figured it out.
Well, I mean, yes, apparently it was a Kickstarter from last year. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Actually, that's kind of interesting. They did say, June 2019 was their expected release for this. It's August, so it's a little late, but that's pretty much in the wheelhouse. I think that may be why we talked about it before, is that this one showed up on a Kickstarter last year or something, and then, it's been gone from our brains because
it got quiet.
Yeah, for a year. Like, Atlas does some things here and there to support stuff, and that's great, and I like some of the things. I mean, they were nice enough to give us God's Forge. A playtest copy, which if you want to check it out yourself, we have a review of it on this very show in an earlier episode. Plus, we did do it on Tabletop Simulator and other advertisement stuff. Please give us more stuff, Atlas.
Bling, bling, bling.
We are not product whores.
Yeah.
We are product whores. Please give us support. We will whore your product.
Oh, I thought it was we will whore for products.
Oh.
My bad.
I will whore him for products, yes.
Yes. We will whore Tantus for products.
Oh, well, thank you. I feel so loved. I'm being used.
Have your tip.
So anyway, yeah, that's the only thing about this that, like, just strikes me, is it's just suddenly being out there. And the other thing about it is, like, a lot of other, like, Atlas is pretty good about putting some announcement outs on their Twitter or, you know, on their main website, and it was more just a subtle, hey, wait, what's that over there in their new games? That one's different from the other ones that we've talked about in previous months.
But wait, there's more.
It's like, wait, when did that show up? Is there a news story about it? Not sort of, maybe, not really. I don't know. I think this is something that I kind of have to give a few complaints about sometimes with tabletop games, at least in, like, medium and larger companies. They aren't good at announcing things sometimes. Other times, they're great.
Right.
Like, USAopoly is an announcement whore. They throw up, like, information like there's no tomorrow. Like there was, like, candy! And, of course, most of it's really neat, and then there's some of it which is just... It Clue.
Well, I think it's because they're just tied in. They're just working with other companies on products that are tie-ins with franchises.
Most of them, yeah. There's a lot of tie-ins with franchises. So I guess having advertisement is better.
No offense to USAopoly and saying, you know, they don't make any original content. It just, a lot of it's that, so it kind of makes sense that they're going to be advertising it.
And probably for Over the Edge, because it was a relatively successful Kickstarter, they might have already made a good chunk of their money, hopefully, with the Kickstarter done. And now that it's just sort of in their product line, it could be. That's actually really hard to say, because we definitely, we on the show here have talked to people who have had Kickstarters which have been successful, but not really successful. Because if there's some kind of mismanagement, or some kind of mistake somewhere, where the pricing goes wrong, it changes things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you never know how it's going to end up, so...
Well, it also could be a problem with a company, and, you know, the company they were going to work with goes under or something.
Yep.
Or regulations change.
Oh my...
You never know. What?
Oh my god. I just realized something about this entire property. Give me a second here. It is... Oh my god. I've talked about the collectible card game based on this property. That's where I remember the name from. When I was doing my, like, super dead ARP CCG series on my channel, I talked about the Over the Edge CCG.
Oh, right. I remember you when you used to do that.
Yeah. I'll do it more one day.
I believe that's how you say it. Back in the day.
Back in the day. So that's another place where I heard about this. Okay. It was just, I was, like, reading up on some of the setting, and I'm like, this island name sounds familiar. Where the hell did I hear this from? Didn't we try to get, like, a game of this using, like, Lackey CCG or something? Anyway, we might have.
We might have.
and it didn't work very well.
Wacky CCG is great, but you have unless the creators have made pre-made decks, it's a real pain.
Yeah, it's a mess. But no, so that's another thing, is there is an old CCG based upon this actual property, which is... I don't know where the hell this property came from. It's got to be like a book series or something else, because there is more than one thing based on it, and it's on the island of Al Amarja. So, yeah. But this is the third edition of the RPG, or maybe the CCG was based on the RPG. Like the first edition of it.
Ooh. Oh, that's the
Brain complexity. Universe. Explode.
third edition.
Yeah.
$45.
Yeah. It's a
I mean,
price.
it sounds cool. However,
Yeah.
I really hate that the text, like the name is backwards. That really annoys me.
I can understand that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was 94. It was based on the first edition of the RPG. Second edition came out in 97. So it has been quite a while. It's been over 2 decades since the second edition came out. Talk about going classics. Yeah. But third edition's out now. Anyway.
If you've played it, let us know.
Please, yes. Let us know if you've played the older ones, definitely,
Or
too.
any of them.
God. I got some interesting discussions when I talked about the CCG. For people like, oh, I remember buying some of these cards and never playing it because no one bought these cards except me.
Oh.
There's a couple of... Some of those old CCGs are just like, oh, I got some cards for it. Yay.
Cool story.
But anyway, I think, Rachel, you have to get running before we hit our
do.
last few topics. So, if you want to throw out some information about yourself as we say goodbye to you joining us here.
All right. So I'm Rachael, or Jadevala, known everywhere pretty much on the internet. I'm here on Thursdays for Madness, where I play Grits, a very punchy monk. Much punk, very monk. And
much drunk.
Much drunk, very monk. She's dwarven. And so I'm here on Thursdays. I sometimes stream the 7 Days to Die stuff when we play on Fridays, like I did last night. And
you've occasionally showed up on a Sunday.
I occasionally do pop in on a Sunday when my schedule is not crazy. I tend to be doing the so boring adulting stuff on the weekends because I have a normal full-time job and have to adult.
Adulting. There's a lot of that. My adulting is spread out through, like, probably every hour of my life, so...
Yeah, much adult.
Much adult.
But yeah, so I'm here sometimes, and I'm on my channel sometimes. Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Usually it's either at Jadevala or at my name, RBSWER, TFEEGER. Swartfigger. So, anyways, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you guys for having me.
Sure.
Of course. Thanks for being on.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
How do I do this?
Just leave the call and we'll fix it.
Just disconnect.
Okay. I was
We'll
like,
fix
it's
it.
mess your stuff up.
It's gonna mess it up. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, bye, guys. Have a great rest of your stream.
Yep. See you Tuesday or Thursday.
Like Tuesday. What are we doing on Tuesday?
My brain's dead.
We might be doing something on Tuesday. You just don't know.
You never know. Dun dun
All right.
dun.
Bye.
Bye.
So let me fix that there. So Joe, did you have a chance to look into Circadians First Light at all? And could you lead us for a brief moment into
I
it?
did not, because I got up super late.
All right, that's a good excuse. Let me throw out the intro to it though. So this is something that is, and then I'll fix your camera.
Yes,
It's something announced by Renegade Game Studio. It's coming in September. It's a $60 game. Okay, so it's a bigger game. Your team of researchers to an alien planet. You manage your crew through dice and various parts of the planet for trading, farming, construction, and research. You score points for negotiating with locals, harvesting resources, upgrading your base, exploring the planet, collecting gems, doing a lot of these things. It's 8 rounds. and the final rounds, the player with the most points wins. There's 3 local clans, with each of their own kind of flavors that you can negotiate with. A unique harvesting mechanism, they say. There's a solo mode with 4 different difficulty levels if you want to play it on your own. There's card combos, engine building, collecting samples. There's a lot to this. It's a 1 to 4 player game, 60 to 90 minutes, and it seems relatively complex of an idea. But I like the idea of it because it's peaceful competition, because none of those things is fight your friends.
Right.
Which, actually, I'm not against at all. You know, a lot of, like, these, like, games like this tend to be, you know, you get in a fight with people, you beat them up, etc. You have chances of, like, sabotaging, murdering your opponents. And this is like, well, no, you're focusing on, like, trade and negotiation. Oh. Let me get the actual image up now. Hey, there it goes. It popped up really successfully, the image, too.
Oh, that's good. Success is always good.
I know. Like, everything I set up while, like, you know, when Rachel's giving her outro just falls into place, and it's just so nice. And sometimes things work out. Other times they're big flaming wreckage. But, yeah, that's normal around here.
Big flaming wreckage! Whee!
Again, normal around here. But, yeah. Diving back into what we're talking about here with this one. It seems like a very interesting game. You know, the idea of space exploration and settlement is kind of cool, and like the entire idea about it. It seems like it's got a lot of replayability with how, like, the different clans are set up, who you're playing, you know, a lot of the resources, exploration, you know, each might be different each time. And, you know, it looks like a really interesting, and the art looks a little interesting too. It's a very simple kind of art, a little cartoony, but it kind of just fits for something that just seems very loose and fun. So, that's what I was going to say about it. It seems like an interesting looking game.
Yeah.
And since your crew is based on your dice, that's an interesting mechanic too. That, like, if you're expanding a crew, it might mean more dice for yourself too. Yeah.
I have to laugh, though, when I first looked at it, my dyslexia kicked in, and I thought it said the Cardassians.
Like, are we talking about, like, you know, Cardassians?
Not
like...
Kardashians, Cardassians.
Yes, for a second I was worried
Star
about which
Trek.
one. Yeah,
No,
Star Trek.
Not.
No, it's fine.
How about Kardashian?
That seems like something they would have. They weren't? No, that's so funny. That's the response. They weren't? Frankly, I'm surprised. Yeah. But, no. So, keep an eye out for it. It's coming soon. That's definite. And the final normal topic we had to talk about today is, and that's good enough. It's good enough. I could have cut the edges a little bit, but it shows up right there in the middle. OP Arena, an epic battle royale of absurd proportions, they call it. This is a weird one from Wizkids, and it's because it's so insane is what drew me to this. When I had a couple of choices about, you know, upcoming board games to talk about, but it was like when I saw this one, it's like you can, you know, it's a
I'm gonna be a laser shark.
Yeah, you can have T-Rexes, laser sharks, Vikings, the Grim Reaper. It's overpowered combatants. Each power players roll power dice to activate one or more overpowered powers of the dudes. You control a team of dudes.
What if they're female? Are they a dudette?
Of course.
Okay.
To gain VP for killing and damaging other dudes, even if it means damaging and killing your own dudes, to reach 30 VP. So, a little like, I think, what is it? Infighting from D&D.
Yes.
Where you can damage yourself with some other people in order to get bigger hits on other people.
Yeah.
but not every power does damage or kills dudes. Some have including like shields, nerf tokens, spelled Nerph instead of F, because it's nerf.
Yeah, nerf is normally Nurf.
Yeah, so which blocks the use of powers, and then the shield tokens keep you from getting hurt. Mechs with rockets, lactose intolerance uniforms, and unhappy Cthulhu, and more craziness. Poor Cthulhu, he's unhappy. I like the lactose intolerant unicorn you could have battle with you. I mean, this just... It's coming out in November. It just seems a level of insanity that is quite entertaining. 2 to 6 players, 45 minutes of gameplay. I don't think they have the rules up yet. They're aiming to sell it for $40. It's 48 tokens, 24 nerf, 24 shield, 48 tarot-sized dude cards. And then a 6-sided dice and 18 reroll tokens. Oh, and each player has a 6-sided die. So there's an extra 6-sided die to each player has, because they also have a scoring marker, damage markers, and a thing. So there's a lot of little tokens. Tarot-sized cards are actually quite large, if you've ever seen a tarot card.
Yes,
so
they are.
84 of those is a big pile of cards for your dudes. I mean, I'm just mentioning this entire thing, and it just feels so crazy. And also the fact that they've got a picture of the box of a T-Rex fighting a laser shark. You
gotta have T-Rex that fights laser shark. Come on, who else is he gonna fight?
Is that like supposed to be a Viking up front?
Yes, there is a Viking. It looks like Thor almost.
He's like headlocking something, like a lich or something. The Viking's headlocking the lich, while Cthulhu's in the background grabbing the title, while Laser Sharp is fighting a T-Rex being ridden by drunk redneck.
Sure, why not?
That's what kind of looks like it. He's a drunk redneck riding a T-Rex. Whatever. This... I mean... I think
it's ridiculous?
Yeah, they win on the ridiculous level. You know, it's just a win of ridiculousness. It's like, instantly seeing it, I can say to myself, I would like to try this. Because it will probably be batshit crazy.
Yeah, it is a redneck who has a Mokhtov cocktail.
Riding a T-Rex.
Riding a T-Rex.
Fighting a laser shark.
Yes.
Yeah, this seems about right. It really is. Wait. For the last 8 billion years, the OP arena has been floating in the center of the M82 galaxy, providing a battleground for the most intense fights of all time. Players from across the multiverse send their champions to seek glory and riches, but only a handful make them out alive. You've been training your dudes since they were since you were trialed, and each time has finally come. Okay, so we're like godlike beings commanding these teams that we learned how to like command them as children. This was our goal in life, to battle in the OP arena.
Why not?
God, oh, so silly. I love it. I don't know what else to say after this entire spiel that we've gone on about it. Jesus, if you like absurdity. If you liked Epic Spell Wars at all, yeah, this is the same level of absurdity. That has a level of absurdity. And we found something that shares it. Type Epic Spell Wars around here or downstairs. I can't remember. Anyway. When we hit our regular segments, I think we're good for it.
Yeah, I think we're good for it too.
I think that was a much better one than the last thing I was going to have us lead out on to go to. So, hey. I would have let us out on Vampire. No, screw that. Let's go, like, laser sharks fighting T-Rexes with rednecks. You got one? Kickstarter?
I have one just to mention. It's just because it's kind of cool. Tiny Epic Galaxies is apparently making a tinier pocket version.
That's why when you said that, I've heard of Tiny Epic Galaxies. I can't remember much about it, but I remember hearing all about it. but now you can have it in your pocket.
Yes.
Is that a universe in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Both. They've already... Oh, wait. Yeah, they have already gotten it. They have 6 days left to go. Well, yeah, their pledge was... They needed 10,000 for gold. They made 104 so far, and have over 4,209 backers.
That's 1,000% of what they were looking for.
Yes.
That's crazy. This is one of those projects I would like to see or talk to the people behind it, because this one is probably going to have a lot of problems with that much. You know, there's always that problem of going too far.
Right.
Oh, they played it on tabletop back in the day. That's maybe where I remember.
Yeah, I knew that. I'm sorry, I actually knew that. They did it on tabletop a while back.
You know,
that's where it got really well known.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think it's cool that they're doing even a tinier version, which has a little space gun.
Yes. A little space gun.
I want a little ray gun.
Yeah.
But yes, super tiny version equals more fun.
I mean, I guess it's supposed to be meant to just be like a true pocket version that you can take wherever you want. That, you know, it's one of those things is like, strangely enough, I'm curious as to, you know, when you could... The biggest test I've ever had for a pocket game is, can I play it in a car with all the rest of the passengers? So far, there have been 2 games that I've done that with the pocket games. All the rest don't work because of the components. And then you're just playing a pocket game at home most of the time, and it's just way too tiny.
As long as you're not just playing in your pocket at home.
No. But...
But yeah, so I just thought it was a cool one to mention. You know, the game's been known out there for a while, so now they're making, you know, a tinier
game.
Yeah. How about teeny tiny Epic Galaxies? Oh, I also didn't know there's also... Oh, it's actually ultra tiny. That's what they're calling it. Ultra tiny Epic Galaxies. I also didn't know they had one that was tiny Epic Kingdoms, which... You can also get ultra tiny Epic Kingdoms now.
Nice.
With this. So there's 6 days to go. If this is something in your wheelhouse and you love tiny Epic Galaxies, you still have 6 days to pledge. You get 1 copy if you pledge at least $12.
Okay, cool.
So it's not a bad price.
I was looking around at something to talk about in my normal kind of place where I kind of find lists, and unfortunately, okay. I think I found one that I'd prefer to talk about. I found a couple of interesting ones, but this is, I think, the one that we'll talk about. Let me get the link here. The others were just like modules for various things.
Right.
Yeah, let's throw the one out for this one. I was just thinking about one of the ones that... So this is so this is Paws and Claws, a tabletop role-playing game. It's got 21 days to go. It's about 10% of its backing total so far. The person who's doing here is combining Jadevala and the Redwall novel series. I don't know about the Redwall novel series. I assume it's about anthropomorphic animals as best as I can.
Probably.
You know...
oh, yeah, I saw this one last week. It looked interesting.
Yeah. So... There, like, some people are doing stuff using the Redwall books, using the Fate core system. And this person wanted to kind of make it its own thing rather than just relying on that. It seems a little bit more. That the Fate... there was something missing from the Fate system when it came to translating this. So they're using the status die system, and it's set in the medieval fantasy world of Woodlined? God. W-U-D Lind.
Woodland.
Oh my god!
You don't English very well.
No! There was a reason I was not an English major. I stopped taking English after I got my associate's degree. After that, I didn't need to anymore. You kidding me? I had years of college without English in it. I got rid of that crap. So I don't English very well.
No.
Okay, so the Woodland is inspired by novels like the Redwall series, Watership Down, and The Builders. I know Watership Down. That's the only one I know about because I know about the animated version of that with, like, horrible rabbit death. And depressingness. It's, if you want to traumatize your kids, parents, Watership Down. That and Return to Oz. I just heard about someone recently talking about how that was kind of really traumatic. But anyway.
That was a super creepy movie.
Yeah. So for $10, you get the test wave PDFs. For $20, you get the full printed play version and the test wave. And $30 gets you the hardcover book of it, plus the PDF. So, I mean, really, $30 is not bad for getting a hardcover, the PDF, and the test PDF. That seems to be the one that, like, if you're for $10 more, I would say go for that one. So they do say, like, it's going between the editing, design, and artwork are where the money from the Kickstarter are going to, and that's why it's needed to provide all that material. They do actually have a quick start rules up on Drive-Thru RPG for this game now, if you want to check that out. So, yep. Anything else about it that I want to throw out for information? Check out the Quick Start rules. Check it out for yourself. See if you're interested in it. Quick Start rules are a really good place to start when you learn if you're interested in a game system. And if you are a fan of the Redwall novel series and or the other ones they said, Watership Down and The Builders, hey, you know what? It's another anthropomorphic animal kind of thing that seems interesting. So go ahead and check it out for yourselves. Let's talk the rest of our regular segments. We didn't have a deeper discussion this week. We did talk about our Kickstarter Korner. Our week in tabletop. Hey Joe, why don't you lead us with what we did last Saturday?
What the hell did we do last? Last Saturday we played. Oh, you didn't come over last Saturday.
I couldn't. That's right.
Yes.
Okay. I figured that. Did you do something?
Yes. Our friend Colin did come over, and Colin, my fiance, and I all got to play. We did Unfair. Thank you.
Unfair is always fun.
We played a game of Unfair. I did come out on top. Hannah got second place though, so she did rather well. And it was a decently close game. Colin's mistake was he could have done something different that would have got him his a blueprint. So he would have gained points instead of lost points, which would have actually it would have put him in a much better place. So that happened.
No, that can happen though. That's the unfortunate thing. You can hit things like that. So shame to hear, but you know. Yeah. Anyway, then last Sunday we played. My brain has not been broken, but I can.
I know there was only 3 of us.
Yes.
It's been such a long week.
Takanoko, because we never actually played it.
Right.
I was like, huh, we never actually played this ever. Let's go for it. And so we did. And it was fun. Definitely always one that's worth checking out. It's a very simple one. Nothing too crazy about that one. Just, you know, if you're interested in that kind of thing, go ahead, take a look. And see for yourself.
Yeah. Eating bamboo, planting bamboo, growing bamboo.
It's very bamboo based. Pandy too. So
Yes.
definitely a fun one though. So okay. Then on Tuesday, I had my first game of my new D&D game, Records of Evil. Our team of villains, lawful evil villains, were attacked by some city guards from the local city. They went to... eventually, they decided to, with the help of... and the push of an imp friend of the lizard folk that's on the team, they went to help basically, in quotations, save the day for their cult of Asmodeus. And they ended up getting into a deal with a devil, and now they have discovered they're in a very similar but different place. I.e., they left the ruins that they were in and found a strange black stone trail with these weird lights around them. And then and when Worm realized it was a goddamn highway that I time traveled them, he just broke down, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, I am so jealous because I love a good evil game.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was figuring out a good point to fit things in for that one there.
Yeah, I know. I understand, but I'm jealous because it's like evil games are so much fun and they're so rare.
And this one where I basically took a bunch of evil cultists and time traveled them into modern day. So they basically, like, their version of a Renaissance festival. He thought they were guys that, like, they went to a convenience store and there's like a half orc running it. He thinks they're just high off their minds and from like the local AK, like, effectively Renaissance fair, and we're wandering in the desert for a couple of hours. So it's really great. It's really entertaining how I kind of have set this up. It's going to be an interesting one.
It sounds really interesting.
Yep. So, nope, and I'll have to see just how things continue for that. But and then Legacy Game's still on hiatus. We'll be back in a week or two probably. And then we moved on to Madness of the Land.
Yes.
How'd you enjoy that?
I'm hairy.
Yes, you are.
But it kind of helps me at the moment, so...
Yeah.
It was interesting. Especially being, like, the only one easily to communicate with this guy. At least... who would be willing to actually be the talker for the group.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate thing that you do have a bunch of people that would certainly not want to do it. Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I got a 10 charisma, sure. I hope my character can think of everything he would need to ask.
The thing is, it's like you were also the logical one because you had the message, you know?
Right? And he knew I was, he knew I was coming to deliver it. I had a connection. It made sense. I'm not arguing that. Trust me. It's just like, it's funny. Our normal diplomat did not get the chance to converse.
Well, I don't know how well your normal diplomat would have gone at this one. That's an interesting one. Zach is an interesting character when it comes to these kind of interactions. So,
yeah, I mean the Kalina are kind of an enemy, but have been told to try to negotiate with them. So I think he would have tried to bet on his best behavior.
True,
but also him getting the direct information about the mirror and such wouldn't have been great.
Yeah.
So, and I got to talk to Fafnir for the first time ever.
Yeah. Fun. It's like, oh wait, I can talk to you? Wow.
It's like, wait, you talk? You don't just like shrug and make weird noises?
Yeah. Revelations.
So that was interesting. We have an idea of what we're going to do. It seems a little suicidal, but we shall see. And I'm kind of worried about those ice methods that ran away.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's what's getting back to me is, like, I have to, like, try to figure out a good balance in these dungeons without, like, hand-holding you, but you not let them, like, draw too far away. So it's got to have a lot of interesting things to it, and it's not always that easy. So
yeah,
I'm gonna see how we can do. Like, this is gonna be the first big dungeon quick, like, test out since the
this group.
We've done some before, but they were a little different because they were, like, I felt like the tower was a little more exploration because there wasn't as many threats. It's kind of like a dead tower. This place is inhabited by creatures.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, this one's really the first dungeon that with this specific cast.
Yeah,
and characters that we're doing.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how things go.
Especially since some people seem to have a little bit of short temper and decide, "Oh, I'm just going to bust down the door."
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
but whatever. Or I'm going to run up and punch a method instead of letting the caster just blow them all up at once.
I was truthfully speaking, the methods were going right after her, so the methods have really good initiative. So
true, because they ran away right after her. So yeah.
Well,
I was hoping to get my one freaking thing off that I never get to use, which is my one arcane archer thing that I can do a radius of sonic damage, but every time it gets to my turn, someone's up against the creatures, and I'm like, ah!
Yeah. Dun dun. Someday.
Yeah, by the time I get to do it, I'm going to have, get into my next, spells of it, and I won't think about that one as much.
Very well could happen that way. But anyway. And I don't think we did anything. I didn't have my, we did not have our Monday, or did we have our Monday?
No, we did not.
That's right.
We had two people who had one person who had to cancel completely, one person who said they wouldn't be available until 10.
And since we go to 11 as a cutoff time, yeah, I'm like, nah, let's just
and that was completely fine by me because right after you said that, I pretty much fell asleep because Monday was just horrible for me, and I was exhausted.
Well, then it helped out. And I haven't played on Wednesday because on Wednesday we try to play with everyone, but our one, because it's not like a stream thing, so we wait to play with everybody, and our one player is Tiv, who, if you didn't hear on Madness, right now. He's down for the count until he can get he has to send his old GPU, I think, away for a replacement or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, well, that sucks. Yep. But anyway, so that was our week in tabletop, and now it is for our final segment. Basically, our final segment, it's if you are out there and you ever have a question for us of any kind, you can send it to us to consult the table. Granted, you can send it to me on Discord. In my Discord chat, you could probably message us through my Discord chat. You could message me directly if you're not going to leave it on the actual Discord channel, which is linked down below. You can probably find Joe over there if you wanted to message him on Discord too. You can.
Yeah, I'm not hard to find.
Up on Twitter, our Twitter things are both below our names here. You can definitely message us there. Either just add us, or I think my messaging is open. In the comments of the YouTube channel, in the comments of this stream when we're doing it, you can always join us to do that. Yeah, lots of places, or discussingtabletop@yahoo.com, which you could reach us there too. So lots of ways to reach us. If it's a question we can answer right then and there, we will. If it's something that we feel like would be better suited to take on for both of us to discuss onto the show, or at least to talk about what we were talking about with it, we will. I definitely have a lot of role-playing questions I would like to bring up somewhere, but I think I have to do a separate show for the ones that have been on my Discord channel in the World of Darkness, because they are complex questions that are very in-depth about World of Darkness. So I'm probably going to have to just do like a separate one of these days, World of Darkness stream, bringing up those questions and talking about them. So, but, yeah. I think that's it for today.
Yeah, I think so.
So, once again, as usual, thanks, Joe, for joining me.
Of course.
Thanks to Rachael / Jadevala for joining us. It was very fun for her to be here. We'll hope to have her on again sometime. She's been on a few times, and having her on to talk about Gencon was great. So, it was something neither of us was able to get to, and getting it definitely there was wonderful. So, and, yep, remember to join us again next week. We should be here at the same time, same place, you know, having some fun, talking about some stuff, learning about some tabletop, and, yeah. So.
And see everyone tomorrow for some actual tabletop.
That's true. I probably won't be streaming in the morning just because I'm going to be doing some stuff with my family. And so just expect tabletop simply in the evening for tomorrow's stream schedule. So, bye everyone.
Bye.